Hello and welcome back to the channel. Now in this video what I want to do is to look at how we can add dynamic routes in our Vue.js application. Now this is something that I really like, and one of the reasons is because I actually was gonna switch from using Vue.js to actually just going full on Nuxt.js with one of the applications I've been using, but I wanted to have this deep understanding of Vue, and I wanted to use it and to continue to use it, especially with Vue 3 coming out, or which has came out the other day, and it was something that I just wanted to continue to use, just core Vue, no additional framework, because Nuxt is great, but it has a lot of abstraction to it, and I have a lot of application that I use with Nuxt, but I just wanted to have at least one where it's just core Vue, Vue.js. And layouts was a problem for me as it relates to it, because I had to have a lot of different duplicate code that I did not really want in my project. So I went there wasn't I believe there was resources I just did not really look or whatever. I guess I was just lazy. So but now I found how to do it, and I just wanted to share how you can do it, and how you can do it and just make it much easy for everyone to, if they just want to continue to use Vue.js by itself. Now let's get right into it. Now the first thing that I want to do is actually just highlight something on my GitHub. So for the last video, I believe it was how to add Vue router to an existing project. So I did it using this repository here, the Fedorae components, and that is something that I should not have done because I was just lazy. I should have just created a new project. So what I did was I just removed it from here. So if you come here for it, you won't find it. It was in a branch here, so it's not there anymore. Where it is now is Vue.js how to repository. So this is where I'm gonna store all the code for the how to series, how to in Vue.js series, and you can just click the branch to just check them out. So we have how to add Vue router, how to add scroll to top, and all of them are there. And if you want me to do a video where I look at how you can check out these branches, like pull from the specific branch, then you can just leave a comment in the comment section and just let me know if you want to see that. So what I'm gonna do now is to actually pull down this project, because I need to actually pull it down. So this is what we're going to be using. I don't have it locally at the moment, so I'm just gonna go to dev, projects, view, and clear. First thing I'm gonna do is to actually just pull this down. As I said, should have put the git clone first. So we're gonna clone this project here. We're gonna cd into this project. Yep. So let's clear that out, and then I'm gonna do a yarn install. So you can do an npm install if you have npm installed. I am using yarn, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say yarn, and this should take a couple seconds. Alright, so that took 45 seconds, so that's great. So let's go ahead and let's open this in VS Codium. I've been using that ID. Can't say I love it, can't say I hate it, but it's okay. It's better than the VS Code. Pretty much just for the telemetry. I don't really want that there. So what I'm gonna do now is to do some little some basic conf update. So I'm gonna change this to Vue dynamic layouts and save that. Where else do we want to change? Up that view, we're just gonna change, not necessarily the home, I believe it is. In here we're gonna change this to welcome to your dynamic layouts view page. Why can I not type this thing properly? So save that, We're also going to get rid of some of this unnecessary data that we have in here. I should have taken out a long time ago, but alright, there we go. So we don't have to close these, but why not? Now I can just go ahead and do a yarn serve. Should not take any time. Alright, there we go. So that took a couple milliseconds. So let's open this in the browser, and there we go. Or welcome to your dynamic layouts view application. So this just make it more custom, personalized to you. There's one thing that I actually want to change. I just want to remove those links at the bottom here, because they do not have to be here. So let's just get rid of those. Get rid of that as well. This thing, my mouse is lagging a bit, but this thing is extremely fast. You can see how it quickly changes. So why would we want to have dynamic layouts in our view application? For the most part, our view applications are going to be for the most part, they're going to be small. But for me, I have found that I thought that an application was going to be small, and then afterwards it just blow out of proportion, and I just wanted to continue using core view. So that is my story as it relates to dynamic layouts. I wanted to switch to a different framework like Nux because I have other projects on it, but I just wanted to use the core view just to get a better understanding of it. Just wanted to use just core view. So for one typical example that I always have is that for login screens, usually when I do login screens, I do not want any navigation there. The only link back I usually want is like a logo image that has an anchor tag or something that will just route the user back, or a router view that will just route the user back to the index page, and that is pretty much all that would be there. So yeah, that is just like a simple general purpose way. You can have your navigation in the top, and for example, you can have like different let's follow structure, or let's say different routes, like major routes, like admin routes, that you would basically like have a different layout or whatever. But I think we basically get the idea. If you're here looking for a different layout, you have an idea of why you would want to have layouts. You know that this is not going to help. So basically, let me just go ahead and show you how we can fix that issue now. So first thing that we want to do is to before we even continue, I'm just gonna create a login page for this example. So we're gonna create a login page, and we're gonna have a let's see what we want here. I actually want to have this in there, so we want to have this little image here. So because I like to have these, and I'm just gonna create a form, and you may be able to hear the rain. So it's actually raining. We're actually in a hurricane thing going on now. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put a input in here. Let me just wrap this in a div as well. Let me just wrap this in a div, and I'm gonna put an input in here, which is going to be text, and I'm gonna put a placeholder for the time being. Just put a placeholder that's gonna say username, which I pretty much never really work with, and another input that is going to be, it's gonna have a placeholder of password, and if we're using password, let's just put password here as well. Even though this is not actually gonna be functional, I'm just putting here for show, and we're just gonna put a button here, and this button is just gonna say login. So this will be our login page. So we need to register this, so let's just go ahead and register it. Not like that. We're gonna register this in here. Alright, so this is logging out a little bit. Okay, there we go. So let's copy this. Let's copy this and paste it right there. We're gonna change this to login, and we're gonna change this to login, this as well, login, and this to login. So let us just get rid of this data that we don't need. And now the next thing that I want to do is actually just update the routing. So in the app file, we're just gonna add this additional router link in here. So I could just pretty much copy this right here. Could I not? Yes, and just say login and login right here, and then we can save all of these files, and that should reload quickly. Now we can navigate to our different login pages. I probably should I'm gonna break that as well. So on the login page, I'm just break this here. Let's save that. There we go. So this is our login page, but really and truly for me, I do not want to have these showing on my login page. I do not like them on there. I just want an empty page with just the information that you need to log in, no distractions. So let's go ahead now and show you how we can get our dynamic layouts now. So for this, what we want to do is to actually just create a root directory. So let me just ensure that these are collapsed. So in our source, actually, we're gonna add a new folder called layouts, and in here I'm just gonna go ahead and add an index layout, which is going to be our main, basically our main layout. So it's quite simple, I would say. It's extremely simple to actually do this. Just put our div element or root div element, and then we're gonna use slots. So Vue provided this amazing component here, or slot component where we can pretty much just inject parts of our page or pretty much our whole page into it, which is extremely amazing. So to have this do us some justice, what I'm gonna do is actually just copy this right here. So we're gonna remove it from here and put it inside our index, because this is where we want it. Now let me just format this a little bit better. There we go. So that looks a little better, I believe. There we go. So let's save that right there, and actually want to get the, why am I clicking? Yeah, we want to get the styling as well. So let's just grab the styling and add it in here as well. So style, CSS scoped. There we go. Save that as well. And now to actually go ahead and implement this. So to implement this thing, what we want to have is to actually wrap this in a components component, I guess. Component. That's pretty much it. So I was a little bit confused about it. And in here, we're just gonna put this right here. So in here, what we want to do is to put a is, so it's a dynamic is, and this is equal to a layout. So this is what it is. So it's a layout. And in here, we're just gonna go ahead and say that this layout is sync, and it is synced to layout. A little bit confusing to some extent, but I mean, yeah. There's one other thing that we need to add to this thing, and is I'm gonna add a script, not TypeScript. We're gonna add a script, JavaScript we want, and just something as a default in the event that there is no layout given. So we're just gonna say layout, and we're gonna put this a div there in the event that happens. So that should be that. And if I save this now, and if I head over to the browser, this is what we're going to be seeing. Nothing showing because basically we're not importing our layouts just yet. So what we need to do is, we could actually add it in here, but it doesn't work all that great inside the app. So what I'm gonna do is just go into the home view, and it basically just updates everything else. So what we want to do is to just go ahead and import your layout. So the one that we're going to import is our index layout, and we're just going to go at /layouts / index.view, and then we're going to do a created. So this is our function on created, and we're going to emit and update. So we're going to say we're going to update our layout, and we're going to pass what the update should be. So we're going to update this with the index layout. So let's save this. And if we go back here now, you can see that now we have, it's pretty much just the same as what we had before, but now after I'm going to go ahead and do the major changes that we actually wanted. So basically we do not want to have this, but for the most part, if we put it on the home route, it's going to basically just update everything, and that is perfectly fine. We want to have a base layout, and maybe because it's the index as well, so you know that's gonna happen. So now what we want to do is have our personal login layout. So that's what I'm going to add now. So we're going to go ahead and add a new file, which is going to be our login.view. Usually what I do is just create a login register file, because basically it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be blank for the most part, and we're just going to add our slot in here. And this does not close for me. And you want to ensure that you actually close this thing, because it will actually throw an error. So you want to ensure that it's closed. And now pretty much all I have to do now is just to go to our index or layout or login view and just create our script. And now we can just do a created, and then we can do a this.emit, and we do the same thing. And I believe one of the only problems that I found with this thing is that you have to import. Well, I think that's kind of standard to some extent, because you really have to import everything, so I don't think that's really a problem. So that was my mistake. So we're just gonna get our login, because I did not get it first. /layouts /login.view, and we can save this now. And if I go back here and click on login, voila, there we go. You can see that we now have a login page that does not have those ugly looking navigations that I do not want. One thing that I probably should have done was to actually wrap this in a router link, so that we can navigate back, because if we don't have it, then we can't navigate back. Why can I not get any intelligence? Router link, and this is going to go to /home. Alright, so let's save that. What did I just do? No, I guess. What did I just do? Okay, here we go. Let us go back, and now we can click on this, and it will take us home. About logging in, you can see that it is totally different. So that is pretty much it, and this is extremely amazing. I love the way that the Vue team actually worked the issue out. It's amazing. But that is pretty much it for this video. I think I'm gonna look at how we can create actually different dynamic view router views, because it's not only the app, that view file, that can have a router view. So in the next video, I may pretty much just look at that, or in maybe a subsequent video I may look at that. So that's pretty much it for this video. As I said before, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.